Swan Valley Lake is an 8-acre expanse of water made up of 3 parts. The Match Bay, which is 2.5 acres and separated off from the other 2 parts. Back Bay, which is 2 acres, and the main lake, which covers approximately 3.5 to 4 acres. Swimming in these waters reside some of the UK's largest and best looking carp available on a day ticket in the UK. These are not just fast growing stocked fish. Some of our originals date back as far as 40 years or more. But what lies beneath the surface? You will have seen by now that we recently drained the lakes to allow us to net them and check the stock. But also do essential snag removal and maintenance. Another bonus of draining the water was that it allowed us to see the lake contours and features, which is a privilege not normally enjoyed by carp anglers. In this video, we will take a look around the lake when it was drained. We'll try to highlight the features from each swim so that anglers visiting Swan Valley have the best chance to catch one of our incredible stock. Then at the end of the video we will simply fly the drone around the margins so you can see all the features and spots and work out areas to target. It's worth pausing the video to analyse each swim, or if you get to a bit you particularly want to target when fishing the lake. Starting in the Match Bay, which is now a higher stocked water separated from the rest of the lake, we can see in the early stages of draining the margins started to be revealed. It was surprising to see how steeply the margins dropped away, and this was the case for the other parts of the lake as well. This makes you wonder how much of your bait, if you're fishing the margins, actually stays around your rig. There were, however, several nicer areas to present a bait where the margin wasn't so steep, and flatter areas possibly caused by feeding fish could be seen, particularly the margins opposite Rogers and next to Ginger Bends and Willows. Obviously, for the fish to survive, we couldn't totally drain the lakes, so the open water here still holds features for the anglers to discover. But as the weed grows in the warmer months, the clear spots become evident, and the fish do use these areas to feed. During low pressure weather conditions, it's worth finding the bottom of the margin slopes, as the fish will patrol along these. In warmer, high-pressure weather, the firm margin slopes where the gradient isn't too steep is a good area to target. Back Bay is the smallest and usually most weedy part of the lake. Depths go down to between 6 and 8 feet, and the carp spend a lot of time in the weed here when it's warm. The margins are a little less steep here, and there's several hard areas in the open water that were found when we netted. Right in the middle of this area is the largest clear spot, and no weed grows here in the summer. Several other hard spots were found in front of each swim, especially in front of Barks and swim 25. A lot of the margins are great to present on in this bay, and the open water spots are usually revealed by the weed, as it doesn't grow in these areas. The fish give themselves away in this area, fizzing and rolling in the weed, so it's often not difficult to work out where to place your rigs. The main lake again had surprisingly steep margins, and the bottom of this marginal slope will surely be a fantastic patrol route to intercept any moving carp. There were also lots of nice gravelly hard areas in the margins to the right and left of each swim, which would be good in warm conditions if you keep disturbance to a minimum. The area that the channel swim commands is the narrowest part of the lake, and the fish are funneled through here on their way in and out of Back Bay from the main lake. Both the near and far margins have overhanging trees and gentle sloping banks, so are perfect spots to target. The middle of the channel is quite deep and silty, and more of a passing area than a feeding zone. Swims 18 and 17 again are in this fairly narrow channel area, and give access to the opposite marginal shelf and snaggy overhang, along with fantastic near margin gravelly areas. Don't neglect the open water in front of swim 17, as there's a lovely firm area to be found, and fish regularly pass here. The reed swim again has fantastic margins and a nice overhang to the left, but perhaps the most interesting feature of all is the large raised area on the opposite bank. This was the most prominent feature we saw when the lake was drained, and you wouldn't know it was there when the lake is full. You can only access this feature if no one is fishing opposite you in the private swim or Island 3, unless on exclusive bookings you decide between you who gets to fish it. Moving around, we come to Oaks and Little Oaks. The margins were quite steep here, but the bottom of the margin slope had a lovely gravelly area that would definitely be worth investigating. Swim 10 has a lovely margin spot to the right as you stand in the swim, and the fish love this area in the summer. The open water wasn't revealed here, but there are some lovely smooth silty areas out in front. Swim 6 is the first swim on the southern end of the main lake, and commands the southwestern corner of the main lake. The corner itself has a nice overhang and gentle marginal slope, and the open water has several clear, smooth, silty areas. The main feature here though is the margin diagonally opposite the swim, where lovely gravel spots can be found and the gradient isn't too steep. Swim 5 no longer exists, so next to swim 6 are swims 4, 3 and 2. Again, these swims have some lovely margins to fish which drop quite quickly into 6 or 7 foot. You need to fish at least a rod length off the bank to avoid your bait rolling away from your rig. Again, the water wasn't low enough to see all the open water features, but we do know of a bar that runs across in front of these swims, which is possibly what's left of the road when the gravel was extracted. Swim 1 is the other corner of the southern part of the main lake. This is the most weedy part of the main lake, so the fish are often held up in here. The corner itself is quite silty, but the opposite margin to the right has some fantastic margin features, such as gravel spots and snags, as well as overhanging trees. Holes in the weed and the open water are definitely worth investigating, as the fish will obviously spend a lot of time enjoying the cover and sanctuary it provides. Island 1 has a lovely overhanging snag to the left as you look out from the swim, and the steep marginal slope finishes in a firm gravel clear spot. Fish are known to visit and feed on this spot. The open water at close range offers some lovely silty hard spots which are free of weed, and carp are often seen showing here. Island 2 again has some nice open water areas, and the margin here isn't too steep to present a bait. Island 3 is one of the swims adjacent to the raised spit that was revealed when the water was down. Fishing on top of this in the warmer months will surely produce fish. And the end of the bar provides a perfect passing point to ambush any patrolling carp looking for food that has rolled down the slope. The private swim has some fantastic margin features, with a line of overhanging trees to the right as you look out from the swim, and a clear, flat, gravelly area to the left. You can also present a bait on this side of the spit, and it pays to be stealthy in this area and keep everything well back from the water's edge. Willows and pallets on the other side of the island in the match bay offer some nice margin features on both sides and access to the holes in the weed in the open water. The match bay as a whole is quite shallow all over, with depths down to around about 6 foot. Barks and End Island in the back bay had fairly steep margins, and the open water is usually most productive here as the fish hold up in the weed. End Island has a snaggy overhanging bush to the left, which is a good ambush point as the fish patrol round the corner from the main lake. We now know we have at least 10 fish in the region of 40 pounds, and at least 2 more known fish of this size which were missed by the nets. Who knows what size there will be when caught. Although netting allowed us to check most of our stock, the mystery still remains. One thing's for certain, when they do get caught, they are certain to be the fish of your dreams. As mentioned earlier in the video, we will now show some aerial shots all around the lake, and it's worth taking time to watch as we fly around the margins. Pause the video to analyse each area as we pass.